All right, welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome, family. Welcome to Truth Unfiltered. This is Mathew Unfiltered, episode 08. We're finally getting back to wrapping up or getting back to this Mathew Unfiltered series. What a blessing to have each and every one of you here this evening. We have Miss Shed Red in the house with us this evening, Mr. Rusty Shackelford. We have Miss Krista Ray and Phil. We have Brother Scott Free and Chai Rose Sounds. Of course, we have Miss Linda Smedley as well. Let's see, who else did I get? We have Brother Dojo is here, of course. We got and James Nobilo. Good afternoon, Brother Phil. Good afternoon, Miss Chai Rose Sounds. Dr. Hugh Maniel. What a pleasure. What a blessing to have each and every one of you here with me this evening. You know, it's been a wild year. You know, we've uncovered quite a bit of information as far as what has been going on in the little season, like what's been going on with all the deceptions and the worldly things as far as all that is concerned. You know, we don't really consider sometimes all the doors and paths that other people have to take to get here. And that's one thing I try to do is I try to pay attention to that. You know, I try to read through the chat over in Discord, and I listen to you guys when you guys talk. Brother Miles and Brother Tala had a beautiful little testimony episode earlier on Miles with Christ. It's wonderful seeing this community blossom and thrive. I mean, it's, you know, it's full of people from all different walks of life. It's full of people from all over the world, and you know, you just can't really find a better group of people than what we have here in this little season community. And it's not just the subs and the chat that's here in the Truth Unfiltered chat right here tonight, but it's all the ones that participate and that don't chat. You know, it's all the ones that watch from behind the scenes as well. You know, the ones that are the reason that you're even out here to do the things that you're doing when it comes to creating content. 2,000 subscribers. It's, man, what a blessing. I really wasn't prepared for 2,000 subscribers so soon, if I'm being real honest. I never really expected to have that many people subscribe to a channel that I'm producing. Good evening, Brother Garrel. That's Brother Garrel over there at Midwest Night Watchers, and of course the wonderful Miss Trish Clark, and of course Miss Golden Fern. Nice to see you guys. But we've hit 2,000 subs. 2K, that's right. That is awesome. We have grown, and this channel is growing, and this community is growing, and it's a blessing. It really is. I mean, 2,000 subscribers. I wasn't expecting to ever hit 2,000 subscribers. I certainly wasn't expecting to hit 2,000 subscribers this year. And so it kind of caught me off guard, and one day I was like, whoa, where did all these people come from? And so it's a blessing. It really is. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching us here on Truth Unfiltered. You know, we've had a full house some nights. You know, some nights we'll have a whole round table of little season influencers, so to speak, if we won't even call it that. You can call them that, or just little seasoned witnesses. How about that? That's a better phrase. Let's just go with that. Just little seasoned witnesses. You know, you guys are witnesses. You know, none of us can be truly certain what happens at the end of this little season. I mean, we know what Scripture tells us. We know in Revelation 20, it tells us that there's going to be a judgment. There's going to be a war. There's going to be fire from heaven and stuff like that. We know all that stuff. But we don't know the physical reality of that state, that mindset, that placement for all of us, for you and me. What will it be like in those last moments, in those last days? You know, what will it be like? We can't really be for certain on that. Yeah. We can't say for sure how it's going to be. You know, we don't know exactly what God is thinking. We can kind of best guess it, best formulate the best formulated thought, you know, whatever makes the most sense to us is what we kind of want to lean on and go with. But the blessing is that because we don't know what's in God's mind and his true heart and stuff, we get to read all about it. You know, we've got thousands of pages of millions of words that paint a picture or a story for us to kind of map out and formulate this perspective or this idea of what God truly intends and what he wants from all of us. I'm not sure how some of you figured out that there was a deception or that there was a little season going on. I don't know how everybody has made it here, but one thing for certain is that we're blessed that you're here. You know, everyone in this community is a part of something that is bigger than the Truth Unfiltered. It's bigger than the Rev. It's bigger than everyone in this community. This whole understanding of time and who we are, this collapse of reality begins with and ends with Christ. I mean, he came to create war and division. And through that war and division, he would create unity and peace. Only for Satan, whether it was a physical manifestation of Satan or if it was a spiritual essence of what Satan is, regardless of what it was or what it is, Satan had to be loosed. And yet now here we are, all deceived. The wild thing is, the more and more I dig and research into this topic, the harder it is. I mean, the more, I guess, the clearer it becomes, and the harder, and on one hand, and more, I don't know. It's like one of those. It's easy to understand it on one hand, and more difficult to understand it on the other. It's like the more you know or more you learn, the less you know, the less you've learned, it seems like. But it's really neat, and it's really a wonderful blessing to be able to look through pages and pages of stories of people's lives as they kind of traverse through time. What a blessing. Miss Madeline from Leaving Babylon has joined us this evening. What a blessing. And Brother Barry Burkholder is with us this evening, all the way from Ontario, or I guess it's Ontario, from Canada, up there near Quebec. You have Brother Mad Pax as well. What a blessing. I'll get to see Brother Mad Pax here pretty soon. In the next few days, the Rev here, we are going on a trip. So I actually have family in Texas, and so what we're going to do is Thursday morning, a friend of mine, Brother Robert Allen, and I are going to head out with one of my pups here, and we're going to make it all the way to Houston, Texas, where we're going to meet Brother Miles and hang out with Brother Miles and explore a little bit of Houston, Texas. And then we're going to make our way over to San Antonio. Well, we'll be in San Antonio until Saturday, at which point we'll make another trip and another stop, and we're going to make our way up there to Dallas, and we're going to meet up with a couple people from the Little Caesar community here throughout this arrangement. And after we land in Dallas for a day or so, we'll then head back and end our weekend back here at the house and start all over with work and real life come the following Monday. It's going to be a journey, and it's going to be a nonstop go type of thing, but it's going to be fun. I think, I think it'll be a blessing to be able to actually hug Brother Miles, be able to hug Brother Robert, and see Brother Matt Pax, and hug everybody, and say hey, and and just fellowship in person. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be an exciting opportunity. And here's the fun part about it is I've been working on a camera setup, or a camera system setup to go mobile. So once we hit the road, I would like to be able to bring you guys along with this. So I'll probably be going live off and on throughout this trip, just to be able to share it, this adventure and this opportunity with you guys, so you guys can join in the real world fellowship. So I think it'll be fun, and I think I'm really looking forward to it. I'm very excited, actually, to be honest. I'm very excited. But if you guys can't tell, I am wore out. I am tired. I've been putting in some time and some hours into this little season understanding, and trying to break it down, and trying to make it simpler for people that are new to it, people that would have questions. I like being able to take the things that are difficult to understand and breaking it down and simplifying it down to a level where it's not so difficult to understand. It's not that I do that just for you guys, but I like to do that for myself as well. It helps me visualize these things as we're talking about. If you were with me the last episode that I did, I was talking about the bloodlines a little bit. There's a lot to that, and I'm not finished with that PDF putting that together. But when I do get it put together, I will post that in Discord for you guys. I know that that's going to hurt some feelings, and that's going to upset some people, the whole bloodline stuff, potentially. It shouldn't, but it might. I know that there are some proud people in this world, and a lot of people are holding steadfast to their ideas and beliefs that have been built around the things that they've been taught throughout time and throughout their life, throughout their entire buildup of who they are as a person, or as a character. The wild thing is that it's like, no matter how hard you push to try to unite people under one frame of thought or anything like that, you end up creating division. And whether you mean to or not, this whole Truth Unfiltered network, or Truth Unfiltered YT, or Truth Unfiltered the Rev, or Truth Unfiltered in community, it doesn't really matter how it's spun out. Nothing that I'm doing, and none of the stuff that we're doing at Truth Unfiltered is for Truth Unfiltered. It's for the community. It's for the people. At least that's my goal with it all. It's for future people, not just you and me, but for future people to be able to come back, rewatch, and look and learn, and say, oh, wow. So that's how it happened, and that's what went on, and this is how we got here. And in order to understand how we got here, you really need to understand all the layers of deception. And what I've been trying to do with these Bible study breakdowns, like as we're doing with this Mathew Unfiltered series, is I'm trying to show you guys that it's not just Revelation 20. It's not just Acts. It's not just these one in particular verses. It's entire books that kind of really talk about the times we're in. Let's see if I can pull this up over here. Where is this at? Boom, boom, da 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 da. All right. Yeah, see that? Check that out. You guys have got us up here to 2,000 subs. Now we're gonna celebrate this. It's just a small milestone, and I know for some people, but it's a big deal to me. It's a big deal to me, and it may not be a big deal to others, but it's a big deal to me, and I want to celebrate that little milestone with you guys. So I'm working on a special little episode to kind of basically just to say thank you to all of you for being here and helping me in support of this and support me in this channel and what we're doing. But what we're doing with this Mathew Unfiltered series is the same thing I've been doing with all these episodes. Is I'm trying to paint a timeline of events, a picture, so to speak. If you not to sit here and try to sell you on previous content, but if you had watched my Revelation series or my episodes on Enoch or my Jasher series or any of that, then what you have seen is I've kind of been walking people through time, through the Bible. And in doing that, hopefully, as we build this timeline series that I'm working on, that all of this will make way more sense. Like everything we're doing will make more sense. The whole little season will make more sense. Not just for all of you, it'll be good for me also to have explored it in the way we're doing it. Miss Krista Ray says, I want cake, Rev, or steak. Yeah, I'll take either one. The problem, I don't need either one of them though, but I would take either one of them. Absolutely, Miss Krista. Thank you guys for being here for room. But what I've been doing with that timeline and with the bloodline stuff is it makes it easier to see all this stuff. It's like, well, all I've done with any of my research really is I've taken the most furthest extreme point of view and walked backwards. Where were they before they thought that? Where were they before they thought that? Where were they before they thought that? And then all the way, boom, back to where they started. It's like understanding the blood. A child, you go to a baby or a young kid, what is blood? Well, blood is the life. I mean, it's what the Bible says. It's the life. It's what creates. It's what gives life. That's what it says, right? Of course, it says several other things when it comes to blood, but let's just go with that. It gives it. It is life, right? So blood is life. That's what you learn. And then that kid goes to school. He's now in first grade. What is blood? Well, blood is water and this and that. Fifth grade, what is blood? Well, now it's this, and this. 10th grade, what is blood? Well, it's this, and this. You're graduating high school. When you graduate high school, what is blood then? It's this, and this. When you get to college, what is blood? It's this, and this. Well, they're just stacking on more stuff. They're just going to keep stacking. They haven't really changed anything. It's always still life, but they've just added a different layer of understanding to it. And they keep doing this throughout education. And then when you get done with your education, you go out into the world and you try to live your life and try to fit it within the mold of that crazy wild journey of education, of educational knowledge, that a whole expanse of thought, when really all it is it's what we need to survive. We need it to live. It's the blood that's in our veins. It keeps our organs fresh and going. It protects our body from disease. It it gives us life. That's what it is. But yeah, you can complicate it with all these different educational terms and words and rhetoric. You can go out here and boast and be big and proud and prove how smart you are to everyone. I know so much. Look how educated I am. I have 15 degrees and don't use any of them. None of them are useful. They're all worthless pieces of paper. Paper that is nothing but proof of your work, your hard work, your hard labor, your labor at learning all these layers that have just simply taken you away from what was important, and that's the truth, and that's the scripture, the word. Everything we've ever learned comes from something that's already been out there. The little season isn't new. The moon map isn't new. The moon map has been around. It's just new to us. The little season isn't new. It's just new to us. All these understandings aren't new. They're just new to us. But they weren't new to them. At that time, Jesus went out on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were hungered and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat. Jesus went out on the Sabbath day through the corn. That's interesting, that word, corn. Where did they get that corn from over there in the Middle East? I don't think corn naturally grows over there and where they say all this is taking place. There's one place on earth where corn is abundant, where it kind of grows pretty much naturally, other than now it's been turned into like a farming thing. It's painted yellow and all that. But that's an interesting note there, that word corn. Because where did they get that corn from? This kind of goes back into that timeline series I'm working on. And Miss Madeline, if you're still listening and you're still there with us, I sent Brother Ricardo a PDF on a kind of like a timeline breakdown with biblical scriptures to support certain narratives or certain points within that timeline. And I'm working on this series, so if you catch this, and I meant for him to send that to you. I didn't have your email, and I didn't want to bother you in your chat or like your comment section about it. So yeah, there's that. I would love for you to take a look at that if you'd like, and tell me what you think about it, or at least talk to me about it at some point, and maybe we can hopefully work something out where we can take some of the evidences that you've found, or throughout your research with all of your map research, and maybe we can come to some final conclusions on some of this stuff. If not conclusions, at least get people closer to those conclusions. At least that's the goal here, to seek the truth. But in order to really understand where I'm coming from with that timeline, we're going to have to explore the world from a perspective that I understand it from. And that's from a much bigger scale of a world than what we've been sold on and what we believe to be what it is. That's why I kind of lean towards this area of the world being more likely the areas that we're reading about. But there's a lot of that's a long discussion. You know, it's not one I could have in one evening. That's why I want to do a series on it. But that said, we're going to move forward here with verse 2, where it says, "But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath." They're accusing him of working because he plucked corn from a stalk to eat it and didn't just leave it there. You know, I mean, waited, instead of waiting until the next day to eat, he just did it then because he was hungry. As if that's work. That's not the type of work God has ever meant and necessarily talked about, but that's how they were perceiving it. It's just is how petty they were, and how little, like, this just goes to show you that they're looking for anything they could find to put dirt on Jesus, is all that is. It's a petty move by the Pharisees. But he said unto them, Have ye not read what David did when he was a hungered, and that they were with him? But he said unto them, Have you not read what David did? How would they have read that? Did they have a Bible or something? You know, did they have a book to read? Like, how would they have read that about David? It's a question I had when I read that. It's why certain books make sense to me. A lot of this stuff is, I don't think, happened quite nearly as long ago as we've been led to believe. But regardless of that, it says, Have you not read what David did when he was a hungered, and they that were with him? How he entered into the house of God, and did eat the showbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priest? Or have you not read in the law how that on the Sabbath days the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. They're over here worried about him picking a piece of corn off of a corn stalk, and he's pointing out that them dudes are like that. I mean, these are like some major hypocrites. I mean, they're profaning the Sabbath and defiling their temples, and they're not even obeying the laws that they're enforcing on people or imposing on people. They're just doing whatever they want, really. But then have the nerve to call Jesus out for picking a piece of corn. They don't even know. They have no idea who they're dealing with, is what he's trying to tell them. He's telling them in the most humble way that in this place is one greater than the temple. Now, you let that be what you want it to be, but I'm just letting you know, this type of thing. But if you had known what this meant, I will have mercy and not sacrifice. You would not have condemned the guiltless. And he's saying, if you knew better, if you knew who I was, or if you knew what was going on, and you were doing right, well, you wouldn't be sitting here accusing me of doing something wrong. You'd be pointing your finger at yourself, you know. Corn, wheat, it's in me. It's in wheat, but not just wheat. It's corn. But yeah, okay. I got distracted there. Sorry, where was I? But if I will have mercy and not sacrifice, you would not have condemned the guiltless. He's saying that if I just give you what you want, basically, then you'll just be okay with things. But if I do what's right, you're gonna sit here and blame. I mean, you're just being silly. You're a hypocrite. Is what he's basically all he's pointing out to him. But he's trying to do it in a way that he's not necessarily offending them or trying to offend them, and he's not. He knows that not everybody will be aware of what he's saying. I'm sure, but it'll be enough that that they should understand what he's saying. If they understand what he's saying, then maybe they'll do right, and it won't be a thing of embarrassment for them. But at least that's how I'm perceiving that. It says, "For the Son of Man is Lord, even of the Sabbath." Even on the Sabbath, he is Lord. And when he was departed thence, he went into their synagogue. And when he was done with them, he went into their synagogue. This can't be good. This can't be a good thing going on right now, because, you have John the Baptist is in jail right now for out here baptizing people, bringing people to God. And Jesus is out here healing thousands of people and preaching to the multitudes. And now went up here. He's challenged the Pharisees. He's pointed his finger at them, and now he's going into their house, into their synagogue. And behold, there was a man which had his hand withered, and they asked him, saying, Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath days? That they might accuse him. And he said to them, What man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on to it and lift it out? How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath days. It's kind of like how people put more love and empathy. They have more love and empathy towards animals than they do human beings. There are people that would rather see every human on earth suffer just to save one animal, or whatever, something like that. There's always that going on, but man, there's people like that in the world, and that's what he's pointing out. He's saying, you're trying to tell me that your sheep are more valuable than this man's life just because it's the Sabbath day, that I'm not supposed to heal this dude or help this dude just because it's the Sabbath day. It's not a day for you. It's a day for you, but it's not your day. It's not yours to command. It's not yours to envelop. It's God's moment. It's God's way. In this, you have, if much then is a man better than a sheep, wherefore is it lawful to do well on the Sabbath? And then said he to the man, Stretch forth thine hand, and he stretched it forth, and it was restored whole, like as the other, brand new, healed. It's amazing. I smashed my finger the other day. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I've got this chunk of meat that was taken out of it. It's almost healed up. But that's wild. I was working on a roof, and had this large cable that we were sliding down this roof vent, and the cable is heavy, especially once it gets to about 100 feet away from you. It's a steel cable, and it slammed down and pulled down on top of the cast iron pipe and smashed my finger. Took a whole chunk of meat out, but it's almost healed up. That's wild. I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, it's amazing what God can do for you. And does it matter what day of the week it is? If someone needs your help, you help them. That's what you're supposed to do. It's all he's trying to say. That's all he's trying to point out. And they're trying to make it seem like, oh no, you got to obey the rules, obey the laws. And the very ones usually that are telling you, hey, obey the law, do it. You got to obey the law, obey the law. Those very ones are usually are often the ones that are breaking the law. And that's another thing he's pointing out here. But then the Pharisees went out and held a council against him, how they might destroy him. I mean, they were so mad, they got to get rid of this dude. This dude has come in here and created all kinds of problems. I mean, he has said the wrong things. He's upset people. He's being offensive. What is this man doing? The Pharisees are so angry. How dare him? Who is this man from Nazareth coming up here talking against us, calling us out? We know a thing or two. We're educated. We have whole degrees and this and that. We can basket weave like the best of them. And we have 4 basket weaving degrees to prove how smart we are. That's these Pharisees in their pride, angry. They're going to go out and conspire against Jesus, and they're going to take him down. They're going to take him down just like they're going to take the Rev down, Oh my God, the Rev is over there creating a community, a network. He's over there creating a whole army of people that's going to take over the world, and we got to get rid of the Rev. We got to shut him down. Oh, he's our competition. Oh, look at the Rev. He's growing and he's got 2K subscribers. We gotta get him. We got to do better. It's this whole. I'm not with all that. Man, I'm not out here competing with anybody. Neither was Jesus. He's just trying to do right. And these Pharisees they're just like, oh, you think you know better than me? Can't believe this, because they don't believe he is who he is. Jesus doesn't look the way they think he should look. He's not acting the way they think he should act. He don't sound the way they think he should sound. It's the same thing when you turn on Truth Unfiltered and you see Grady. Love you, Brother Grady. When you turn Truth Unfiltered on your YouTube and you're looking for the Rev, and now you see Grady, you see you get a different message. It's the same message. It's a different outlook. It's the same message. We're talking about Christ. We're talking about coming to Christ. We're talking about understanding Christ. We're talking about the little season. We're going through Scripture, and we're trying to help people understand, that there's more than one voice out there when it comes to what we're all going through. But it's like that here. They got all these different people that think they know better. And it's going to be the same way when Jesus returns, I feel like. I think when he returns, that he's not going to look the way you think he should look. He's not going to talk the way you think he should talk. He's not going to sound the way you think he should sound. He's not going to behave the way you think he should behave. He's not going to be farting rainbows and breathing out butterflies every time he talks. It's not going to be like that. Good evening, Brother Chris. Good evening. What a blessing. What a blessing to have all you guys here. Brother Dojo says, I can understand that for sure, brother. We'll keep you in my prayers. Absolutely. Have a good evening, Miss Madeline. Have a good evening. Glad you were here with us. She says, have a good evening, everyone. God bless. But yeah, it's this whole thing that they know more. They know so much. How dare you tell us what, about our ways, that they were mad and jealous. Boy, get off of me. Get off of me. Go on. No. Quit. Sorry. No. You can't. Get over here. Get in your bed. Get over. I'm not sure if they know if I'm really talking to y'all or what if they know what I'm doing. They just see me talking to myself. But he wants to get up on my lap and he's way too big to be up on my lap. But anyhow, back to where we were. Yeah, they're just mad. I mean, they were just jealous. Basically, all that boils down to their pride wouldn't let them see who he was. But when Jesus knew it, he withdrew himself from thence and the great multitudes that followed him, and he healed them all. Jesus knew what was in their hearts. He knew who they were, and he knew what they were up to, and he went out and healed everybody. He said, whatever. Do your worst. He said, go ahead, do whatever you got to do. I'm going to go out here and heal these people. That's why I'm here. And charge them that they should not make him known. But he did tell them, though, don't go out here and be bragging and talking about Jesus helped you and Jesus saved me. Man, one gets up and now the other one gets down. They are they're testing me. That's what they're doing. These dogs are funny because it's like they do act like children. Callie, get over here. Get over here. Come on. Come on. I don't know what they're doing. They're getting up pitter pattering. They're trying to mess with stuff. Um, yeah, they definitely. What I'm saying is that Jesus don't care. I mean, he kind of does, but he knows what's in their heart. He also knows that they don't believe he is who he is, and that they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do. They think they're lap dogs. Yep, they do. Them big old dogs. They think they're lap dogs. But and they love getting your attention and distracting me. But anyhow, I'm sidetracked there. But he went out and healed them all and charged them that they should not make him known, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Esaias, the prophet, saying, behold, my servant whom I have chosen, my beloved, in whom my soul is well pleased. I will put my spirit upon him, and he shall show judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not strive nor cry, neither shall any man hear his voice in the streets. A bruised reed shall he not break, and smoking flax shall he not quench, till he send forth judgment unto victory. And in his name shall the Gentiles trust. He went in there and told them dudes straight up, look, I know you're blood type this or you're a blood type that. I know that. I know that your blood goes back to this dude or that dude. You know, we all kind of do to an extent have him to thank for us all being here. But yeah, I know that you know a thing or two, and I know that that's who you are. And I know you don't like these other people because they don't have the same blood as you. But oh well, they're going to end up believing in who I am more than any of you guys. So, you know what? We're going to start leaning that way. We're going to start leaning on the ones that are leaning on me. It's really all he's trying to tell them there. He's pointing out that the very ones that they think are going to be the downtrodden whenever the judgment comes are the very ones that are going to end up being the ones in charge. They'll be the ones that become the ones you don't want to be. The saints, they end up being the ones who lead these heavenly armies. That's who they are. It's interesting really. You know, it's like, man, if the Gentiles are so bad, why are they going to end up being the ones that trust? And in his name shall the Gentiles trust. They're going to be leaning on Christ because Well, one, it just makes more sense. They're seeing it in person. I mean, they're watching this man heal people literally, and didn't do it in the face of these Pharisees and in the face of these, people who would otherwise do their best to hurt you and harm you. But then it was brought unto him one possessed with a devil, blind and dumb, and he healed him, in so much that the blind and dumb both spake and saw. He took a blind, dumb person who was possessed with a devil, meaning that he was not just handicapped, mentally impaired, he was wild. He was probably hitting people and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, but not because he himself is bad. I mean, he don't know any better. He's just got this devil in him causing him to be this way, but he's blind, and he's, just mentally handicapped, and now he's a normal person. Now he talks like a regular person, thinks and breathes and eats just like a regular person. Jesus took a mentally challenged person and made them no longer mentally challenged. It's just one of the many wonders that he performed. It's really what that is. And all the people were amazed and said, "Is not this the son of David?" All the people were amazed. I mean, they were amazed. Is this not the son of David? Just like I'm amazed. But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, "This fellow does not cast out devils, but by Beelzebub, the prince of the devils." And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, "Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand." They're trying to sow division. He knows what they're trying to do, because he knows that's, man, y'all are just being silly. That's just a bunch of mess. That's a bunch of crap. That's all that is. It's like when people start talking trash about other people, to try to bring them down. You're just saying a bunch of nonsense is all you're saying to these people. That I'm casting the devil out with the devil. I mean, that's just silly. But that's what they're accusing him of. And he knows what's in their heart, and he tells them, "Look, all you're trying to do is divide people and create division. You're not trying to create unity with that accusation. I mean, what's wrong with you? These people are healed now. I mean, really be quiet. Go home." That's what I'd be telling them. But Jesus is probably a lot more gracious than I am. That's why I'm not Jesus, because I probably would have told them dudes to shut the F up and go home. Man, get out of here. Nobody cares what you have to say. It's probably what I would have said. But that's why I'm not Jesus. Jesus handled it better than any one of us ever could have. But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, "This fellow does not cast out devils, but by Beelzebub and the prince of devils." And Jesus knew their thoughts. And if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Like, how does that benefit Satan? I mean, what you're saying doesn't benefit anyone to do that. I mean, you're literally talking crazy is what he's trying to tell them. It's like us in the Little Season community. I mean, we can get divided pretty easily. All it takes is one bad thing or one wrong narrative, or, "Oh my God, the Rev, can you believe that? He done said this. He done said this about these people, or this or that." He done done it. He done got on somebody's nerves and struck a chord or whatever. "Oh my God, the Rev, he's a terrible person." There's going to be those types of people, just like there's going to be those that are, like kind of like those, I don't know, you just have those fan type people. There's always going to be division when it comes to the word or doing what's right or the truth, because there's always going to be people that don't want you to do right. They want to see you fail because at least they're looking at it like, if I can get kingdom within to fail, then everybody will be looking at kingdom within and won't be looking at me. And then I can say, I deserve to go to heaven because you were worse than I was. That's what all that is. Good evening, Brother Tyler. Good to see you. Good to see you. He says, just got done fixing dinner for my kids. Now here. Good to have you here. What a blessing. What a blessing. I love seeing that. I love seeing you hang out with Brother Miles earlier today. That was a blessing. And then, of course, it was seeing that, and then of course I know you had like a connection issue at some point, and Brother Miles he hung in there and he held his ground pretty good. He did. He did a really good job. I was proud of him. He did. He did good. I enjoyed that. But what a blessing to have you guys here. Good to see you, Miss Joyful One. Just noticed you were in here with us as well, and Brother Joe Simone. He says Chris T, hi buddy. All right, Brother Tyler has joined us. Kids are all, down or done eating dinner and stuff. That's why I try to do these. That's why I try to do these Bible studies around 8:00. It's because I figure most people around that time have kind of gotten dinner done and are settled with their kids. At least that was the original plan. But yeah, he's just pointing out that what they're accusing him of is just so silly. But if I cast out devils by the Spirit, oh wait, I missed that. And if I by Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your children cast them out? Therefore they shall be your judges. But if I cast out devils by the Spirit of God, then the kingdom of God is come unto you. He's just letting them know that if I did what you say, then then it's that way. But if I'm casting them out by the Spirit of God, then that can only mean one thing. God, the kingdom of God, is come unto you. Ooh, that's blasphemy right there. Did he just call himself God? Is he the kingdom of God? That's I could picture them just, oh my God, I can't believe he just called himself the leader of the world. I just can't believe it. Or else how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house? This is that whole meek stuff. It's not just turning the other cheek. It's being, that's my own thoughts. It says, or else how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. He's just saying that, how else can you take over a strong man's home unless you take over the strong man? It's pretty, I don't know, it's just rather simple in my mind. Greetings all from Reality Witness. What a blessing. Thank you, Reality Witness. Truly a blessing. Thank you for that. But he that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. You can kind of apply that to anything. And if you're not with me, you're against me, right? How else can it be? If we're not of the same thought when it comes to right and wrong, then we're not on the same team, plain and simple. But yeah, if you're not with Jesus, you're against him. And he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. Those that are trying to create division, all they're doing is scattering people, moving, just creating waves of whatever. They just don't want. It's just a bunch of mess. Is all it is. This whole world system, this whole worldly event. The whole politician stuff, the whole political narrative, the whole educational narrative, the whole false historical narratives, the science and the outer space and the rover to Mars and going to other planets, silly Elon and stuff like that. I mean, these people believe a lot of this stuff. Some of them do, but some of them know better. And it's a shame that we're in this mess. But it's like the more I've learned, it's like I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure that everyone has been deceived throughout this entire little season. I think up until possibly even the 60s that there were people that knew very well when we were and of the true Jesus, that they were not, that the deception didn't really hit hardcore until about 1963. And that's when they just really started pushing all their outer space nonsense onto everybody. And then, of course, you had the Vietnam War for no reason. And then you had all this other stuff. I mean, going to the moon and outer space, and we're going to be Captain Kirk and go find some purple aliens somewhere. All those thoughts, those War of the Worlds and all that mess. But I think that's about when once they proved with video that there is a flat world out there called Earth. They decided to really push this all these false narratives really hard. I think we're truly the first, real full length type of generation to be deceived, that from that 40s, 50s era all the way up until about today, that whole, anyone who's made it in that time frame we're the deceived ones. Fascinating thing is our kids won't be deceived, not the way we are. You'll have Billy Graham times. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I don't think our kids will be as deceived. I think we're the last generation really to be deceived. And that's the blessing in all of this. That's the beauty in all of it. Whether we figure it all out or not, it's going to get figured out, and it's going to get figured out here real soon. Whatever it is that needs to be figured out, if anything. But how long this thing lasts, I think it's up to all of us, if I'm being real honest. The more of us that get out there and try to promote and push and explain and talk about the little season and the truth of Christ, the better off we'll all be, but the closer we'll get to that point where we're not necessarily struggling to survive throughout the world anymore. We can have a true kingdom of God here on earth finally, that we can finally excel beyond the white throne of judgment and get to that last stage of our time. Whether it's eternity for you or not, I think that's up to each person. All I'm trying to do is lead people to the water. I can't really make them drink any of it, and I can't make people believe the things that I believe. But I could try to read this, and we can kind of go through it and try to simplify it the best we can, and that's all we can do here. And that's all he's doing for them, is he's just trying to. He's really trying. I feel like Jesus is probably already wore out with these people. At least that I would have been already by this time. He says, "He that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth. Wherefore I say unto you, all manner of sin and blasphemy shall be forgiven unto men, but the blasphemy against the Holy Ghost shall not be forgiven unto men." And whosoever speaketh the word against the Son of Man, it shall be forgiven him. But whosoever speaketh against the Holy Ghost, it shall not be forgiven him. Neither in this world, neither in the world to come. He's saying now or never, never, not now, not ever, never, ever, never will it be okay to just sit here and just blaspheme and speak against the Holy Ghost. You can talk about me all you want. Don't you dare talk about my Father in heaven. That's what he's basically trying to tell them. Don't you dare sit here and tell me that my God would just allow this kid to be sitting here suffering if he had the ability to heal him just because it's the Sabbath day. How dare you? But he's really was really how I take that. That's a how dare you tell or phrase. But it shall not be forgiven him, neither in this world and neither in the world to come. Either make the tree good and his fruit, or else make the tree corrupt and his fruit corrupt. For the tree is known by his fruit. I mean, either you do good or you don't. And if you're not doing good, you're not going to produce good fruit. And you guys are clearly not producing good fruit. I mean, look at you with your gold ribbons and your gold laces and your silk whatever you got on and all your little tassels and your fancy wardrobe, your 5-piece suit or your priest gown or whatever it is that they wear. You look fancy, is what he's saying. You think you're something over there with all that extra going on. But it's not good. I mean, who's that good for? It's like these millionaires, multi-millionaires, and it's like that's a touchy subject as well, Millionaires, multi-millionaires, billionaires, why aren't they helping everybody? If they would just give everybody $1,000, it would solve this and that. But it wouldn't. It wouldn't matter how much they give. It wouldn't solve anything. But at the same time, not doing anything is not doing anything. And yeah, if you've been blessed and you're fortunate through God and by his grace that he's allowed you to amass this multi-billionaire fortune, it's not so that you can go out and pass out checks to everybody, but you now have opportunities to do more in life that are good for everyone and not just good for you and your business and your wealth. And that is a statement directly to all of the wealthy. Like, how dare you, really? Like, a shame on you that you sit there in your nice king-size beds drinking your martinis or whatever in the heck you're doing with all your multi-billions of dollars and your reality TV shows and your sports paraphernalia and all that mess, all that garbage that you guys boast over and get proud over, all that worldly, useless nonsense that you guys cling to, and yet you do nothing like you're no benefit to society. Society does not benefit from you whatsoever. The same can be said for those who don't do anything. They live on the streets and pollute the towns around them with drugs and other stuff. You're not doing anything for society. I mean, what are you doing? I mean, you're poor, and you're out there on the streets. I mean, yeah, I know it's tough and some people can't help it. Some people don't ask to be in the positions they're in. I get that, but some people do. Some people are responsible, absolutely, for the position they're in life. What you do with this life is what's important, what your works and your fruit. Yeah. It isn't just your works though. It's what's in your heart. Like, what was your intent behind the things you did? Why does Rev want a community? Why is Rev always talking about discord? What is Rev's goal here? Is he trying to steal everybody's subscribers and all their views? Is he trying to become the best YouTuber out there? Am I trying to become super famous? Like, what is the Rev's agenda? I mean, you'd be silly not to ask those questions at some point, but the point I'm trying to make is that I don't have an agenda when it comes to any of that. Whatever happens, happens. We grow or we don't. We shut down tomorrow, we shut down tomorrow. We keep going, we keep going. If we build a building, call it a church, and move a bunch of people in and fly people from all over the world to create this utopia right here in the middle of chaos and deception, then we just do that. If we create a whole town, a whole city, and we decide to be our own little country, we just do that. We'll go as far as we need to go with this. But just because it could fail, or just because it might fail, doesn't mean we ought not try. And that's the same way with any of this. The same way, at least that's how I take all this as I read through this. It's like, man, he's really trying to give them the benefit of the doubt sometimes, but then he's just straight up, just point blank, period. Simple. Either make the tree good and his fruit good, or else make the tree corrupt and his fruit corrupt. For the tree is known by its fruit. Absolutely, Brother Tyler. Absolutely. We're going to get you on here. I'm going to get you on here for sure. Absolutely, Brother Tyler. I'm looking forward to that as well. What I'm not looking forward to is all the vipers in this little season. I mean, there are tons of them out there. There really are. A bunch of wolves in sheep's clothing. O generation of vipers, how ye, being evil, speak good things, for out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. And a good man out of the good treasure of the heart bringeth forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things. It says the good man brings out the good, and the evil man is bringing out the evil. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. It says everything you say and don't say, pretty much. You'll have to give an account of even the things you didn't say. Basically, is what he's saying there. Every idle word that men shall speak. Everything you say, whether you really mean it or not, doesn't matter. You're going to be held accountable for everything that comes out of your mouth. Everything I've said on Truth Unfiltered, I know that one day I will be held accountable to those things. And I'll be held accountable to the man upstairs, and the one who died on the cross, and the one who was resurrected 3 days later and returned around the 170 to 100 AD, somewhere in that time frame. We like to say 70 AD. It just makes more sense. But that's who I'm going to have to give an account to. And I'll be judged. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words shalt thou be condemned. I'm either going to be justified or I'm not. I'm either saying the right thing or I'm not. Either what I'm saying is the truth or it's not. Plain and simple. My goal is to aim for the truth. Whether it hurts your feelings or doesn't hurt your feelings, offends you or doesn't offend you, I don't I don't want it to, but I don't care either. I don't want to offend you, but I don't really care if I do. Because it's not me that you're offended with. It's the words of our Lord and Savior that you're offended with. It's the words of this book that you're offended with. I didn't write this book, and I'm not the one who designed the world system that we live in. I'm not responsible for any of this mess. But I do want to try to help people clear the fog. And that's all we're trying to do here, is clear the fog. Then certain of the scribes and the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, would we see a sign from thee? Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, a certain, he's just pointing out that they're not all crazy. Like, some of them have some sense. But this Pharisee answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But then he answered, saying unto them, an evil and an adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. You need to do right, or you're going to suffer, pretty much. It's really all that boils down to, but it's interesting. That's an interesting point that he's making there. But he answered them, saying, an evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign. You know, I was having this back and forth with this fella earlier today. I guess they think it takes me forever to formulate these little thoughts or these little comments, but I'll spit them off in like 2 minutes or 2 seconds or whatever. It doesn't take me too long. So it's not like I sit here and dwell on these comments, but you could tell by the back and forth I was having with this fella that he was burned up. You know, he wants to be right so bad, and I get it. You know, I want to be right too. I don't want to be wrong, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know, I don't want to sit here and stay wrong just because I need this wrong to be right so that I can be right. I'd rather know the truth regardless of what I thought it was. But it was funny. We were kind of going back and forth, and we just could, he just couldn't accept that what I was saying was not what he was trying to accuse me of. But we're going back and forth, and I'm thinking, like, man, why don't you just come talk to me, and we'll talk this out, and I'll help you understand where I'm coming from, because you clearly are confused. But it's just funny. For by thy words thou shalt be justified. And these certain Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But he answered, saying to them, you're looking for a sign, and there shall be none. This dude was wondering, how do you know? How do you know it's the little season? Like what year is it? How'd you calculate these years? Or how'd you figure this out? Like what is this? I mean, how did you come to this conclusion? Where's your sign? Where's the sign? Like, where's the evidence? Like, where is what's the thing I can look at and grab a hold of and say, yeah, yep, now I know we're in the little season. It's proof right here. I can hold it in my hand. And then I can go share it with other people that hadn't heard it yet, and they can hear it from me first. It's really what that is. That's all that mess is. It's me. What about me? Man, what about you? What about me, though? I mean, what about you and what about me? What about all of us? What do you mean, what about me? What about you? Why does it have to be about me or you or any of that? It's not that. It's just about doing right. But that's what my little back and forth was. And then as we're going through this, it just brings that to mind. Brother Allen, welcome to the party, Brother Allen. He says, oh boy, where have I been? Late, blessings to all. And Shed Red Satan put out a memo. Yeah, he did. It's really weird. I'm shadow banned hardcore, I think. I think they're really making it difficult for my stuff to be seen, my videos to be seen. But all we can do is press on, right? Just keep pushing forward, and hopefully we'll figure out our little way around this algorithm. But they're looking for a sign, these people oh, there ain't no way we're in the little season. Where's your sign? Where's your sign? Well, sit down and be quiet for about 10 hours, and we will explain it all, because you can't unravel this stuff in a text. You can't unravel it in a 2-hour conversation. You can't unravel it in a single moment. You need to talk about this every day. That's why I love this Discord. That's why I love this community, because every day there's 2 or 3 or more people in the Iron Sharpens Iron chat hanging out, talking about the Word of God, talking about the little season. They're sharpening iron. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to talk about this stuff. We're supposed to read it and discuss it and fellowship over it and fellowship with each other, and not supposed to be separated and divided. We're not supposed to be about, oh, me versus you or you versus me. It's not supposed to be about all of that. But, some people want it to be that. Some people just need that fame. They need that recognition. They need that validation. I don't care about none of that, really. What I care about is I care that what you guys hear is the truth. James Nobilo, this is on Spotify, sorta. I'm just not steady with the uploads on it, because I have so much going on. But I am going through every video that I have and editing them and then re-uploading them to Spotify. So yeah, there are some of episodes already on Spotify, but the most up-to-date stuff is not quite on there yet. That's why I need a team. I just can't afford one right now. But one day we'll have a big team here, and we'll be able to have a whole bunch of people doing all kinds of stuff, and being able to present as much useful information to the world as we possibly can. I want this whole Truth Unfiltered series and all of these series and episodes to be, in a way, kind of like study material, stuff you can learn from, whether you need it right now or later. It'll be here for you. But these men of Nineveh, well, I'm sorry, for as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. He's telling them right now. He's telling them, that I'm gonna be dead for 3 days, and I'll be coming back to life. Miss Golden Fern says, "Rev, what do you need help with?" Oh, I mean, I need help with a lot of things, but no, I was just talking about like uploading videos and content to other platforms. There are ways to do it where it's not as difficult a task, but I'm working on so many other things right now that I haven't really had time to go through all my videos and re-upload them to other platforms. But I am working on that, though. I definitely am working on that. So, but I do have a few episodes. I think I have about 7 or 8 episodes of the Revelation series on there already, and maybe some others as well. But yeah, we're building it. We're growing. We're growing a little bit, one day at a time. One day at a time. There's no rush to any of this. The world may end tomorrow, fellas and ladies. There may not be any point to any of this at the end of the day, other than to have one last hoorah fellowship before the last of the last days. Could be tomorrow. Could be right after this stream ends or during it. We don't know exactly the day or the hour. We just know that it's going to be within a certain period of time, and then that potentially could be within our lifetime. It may not be, but it could be. It really does look like it is, but we'll see. The men of Nineveh, though, they shall rise in judgment with this generation and shall condemn it because they repented at the preaching of Jonas. And behold, a greater than Jonas is here. Look, this is what he's trying to tell them. Oh man, this is wild. This is really crazy. He's trying to tell them, like, the people of Jonas's day that are dead now. Like, y'all, like, guys, listen to me. This is Jesus saying this. He's saying, look, this is Jesus saying, listen, y'all have all these people from Jonas's day that are dead. Those guys repented. They're going to come back and they're going to be saints. They're going to be ruling over you, so to speak. That's what he's telling them. He said, the men of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with this generation and shall condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonas. And behold, a greater than Jonas is here. He's saying, those guys are going to come back and they're going to be saintly people. They're going to be amazing type of people, like super people. But no matter how super they are or how great they are, even Jesus is even greater. Jesus is even greater. He's telling them, he's just telling them straight up how it is and how it's going to be. The queen of the south shall rise up in judgment with this generation and shall condemn it. For she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and behold, a greater than Solomon is here. You remember Bathsheba? I think it was, right? Wasn't it Bathsheba that came to Solomon because she was, she wanted to know about his wisdom, and she heard about it and she was impressed, so she wanted to go seek him out. He's famous, He's famous, she's famous, so she wanted to go seek him out and experience his wisdom. As much as y'all look up to that dude, there's one standing among you right now that's even greater than that. That's what he's trying to tell them. When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through the dry places, seeking rest and finding none. When the unclean spirit is gone out of the man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest and finding none. No matter what he does, there will be no rest. Then they're getting on my nerves with this. Come on, Bible Gateway, you can do better. And then he said, I will return into my house from whence I came out. And when he is come, he findeth it empty, and swept, and garnished. And then goeth he and taketh with himself 7 other spirits, more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation. He's just basically painting a picture of them, letting them know just how awful they really are. You're not as good as you think you are. You guys are really the worst of the worst. This is what he's trying to tell them. Y'all are just as bad as they were before Noah's day. He hadn't gotten to that part yet, but he will. Y'all are just as bad, if not worse, is what he's trying to tell them. They may not be able to physically do like the terrible things that they were able to do before the flood, but they want to. They would if they could. It's in their heart. They would do the worst of the worst. They are the worst of the worst, is what he's trying to tell them. But he answered and said unto them, Then one said, well, wait a minute, where am I at? I'm skipping all around, aren't I? While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brother stood without, desiring to speak with him. Jesus is out here doing the Lord's work. He's out here talking to the people. He's getting on to the Pharisees. He's healing people. And there's his mother and his brother sitting there just patiently waiting. They just want to see him and talk to him for a minute. And they're just out there patiently waiting. Then one said unto him, Behold, thy mother and thy brother, and stand without, desiring to speak with thee. Just somebody pointed it out. It's like, hey, Jesus, by the way, your mom and your brother's over here. They want to talk to you. But he answered them and said unto him that told him, Who is my mother and who are my brethren? Like, what are you talking about? And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, Behold, my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. You know, if I'm being real honest, I didn't know Grady, but a few weeks before we sparked up the whole Monday nights with Grady, the Monday night firestorm with Brother Grady. But I could see the love for Christ in him. I could see the passion and the fiery zeal he had towards the truth. The same is my brother and sister and mother, whosoever shall do the will of my Father, which is in heaven. The same is my brother and my sister and my mother. Anyone who's talking about the little season, anyone who's talking about the times we're in, anyone who's talking about Scripture, anyone who's talking about love and peace and truth, anyone that is talking about the things that we're talking about on Truth Unfiltered, I'm on board with you. I mean, we're on the same team. You're my brother. You know, that's why I love JT and Brian. They're my brothers. Even though we don't talk every day, we don't live near each other. We live states away. We have our own lives. I have my channel. They have their channel. They have their lives, and I have my life. I'm a plumber by day. I'm a winged soldier by night, I guess. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I was trying to think of something different than Batman because I'm not Batman. But the point is that he's my brother. Just like Scott Free is my brother. Jason Jack is my brother. Ricardo is my brother. Richard, the ceiling fan man, he's my brother, you know. Chris T is my brother. Dojo's my brother. Jesus in the Seasons, my brother. Shed Red, my sister. Miss Trish Clark, my sister. Miss Allison M, my sister. We have all these people in this community. And they're our brothers and they're our sisters and they're our family. Not just subscribers. It's not just 2,000 subscribers. It's 2,000 family members and growing. It's what it is. We're a unified front in the face of deception, in the face of adversity, in the face of all of the would-be naysayers and the would-be evildoers. And the times we're in, this community is proof that this message of the little season, this understanding that Christ is not a liar, that Christ did do the things he said he was going to do, that he does the very things he says he's going to do. Y'all are proof of that. This whole community is, really is. Dr. B says, please tell us you'll have a meetup in San Antonio. We're just a little south and would love to meet up in San Antonio. Oh man, that would be awesome. Yeah, so I will actually be in San Antonio Thursday and Friday. Or at least Thursday evening and Friday, all day Friday. But we'll be headed out up towards Dallas on Saturday morning. And so yeah, Dr. B, if you want to make it up there to San Antonio on Friday, I will be more than happy to hang out with you and meet up with you and do a meetup. You know, I think that would be really cool. I'm definitely down. But we are definitely a family. in this community. And I say this community, that's the whole Little Season gang. You know, not everybody gets to watch Truth Unfiltered, just like not everybody gets to see JT's lives whenever he's live, and not everyone gets to see Connor's lives whenever he's live, and you know, not everybody gets to just to be in everybody's chat. I mean, there's so many people talking about the Little Season nowadays. It's hard. It's really hard to keep up with everybody. But that's what we're trying to do here at Truth Unfiltered. We're trying to bring everybody, you know, at least not necessarily bring physically everybody together, but to kind of create a hub, you know, a central hub for, you know, some people might want to listen to people like Connor, you know, might like the way Connor does his display. There might be people that benefit and enjoy the way JT shares his information. There may be people that you know will benefit from Jason Jack, and some will benefit from Miss Madeline and Leaving Babylon. You got Kingdom Within as well, and all the many others. There's so many people out here talking about the Little Season. I just don't want, you know, I don't want it to fall apart. You know, I don't want all of the communities to fall apart. I don't want there to be division. Yet there will be, regardless of what I want, there will be those who can't help themselves. They will have to create as much division as they possibly can. They'll want to stir up as much drama and trouble as much as they can, you know, and there will always be those that'll seek to divide only to, you know, for their own benefit and their own gain. There'll always be wolves in sheep's clothes. You know, that was JT's message and what they were talking about the other day. You know, he made a good point about something. I can't remember now what it was, because I was going to mention that to you guys, but bring that up, that a point that he had made about when it comes to all of that. But you know, he was talking about like the music industry and stuff like that. That is a dangerous place. It is a dangerous place to get wrapped up into the music industry, but just, in fact, any of those industries, you know, the Hollywood, celebrities, you know, movies and stuff like that. Those are dangerous realms to be in. You know, they're not the safest places in the world. Let's see. Let's see what are we going to be looking at next on the next Mathew Unfiltered episode. We'll be in chapter 13. It starts out saying, the same day Jesus went out of the house and sat by the seaside. Oh yeah, that's where he fed the multitudes and stuff. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. So we're going to continue on with this Mathew Unfiltered series. I am going to try to push through it a little bit quicker. I'm going to try to see if I can't. Never mind. Don't, just never mind that. I'm not even going to worry about that. I'm just going to keep doing these episodes the way I'm doing it. We'll just keep going through it line by line. I thought maybe I would try to speed it up. Best way I can speed this stuff up would just be not to talk about other stuff, but that's not me, so I'm not even going to worry about that. We're just going to keep kind of just keep going through this thing. We may not even make it through every book of the Bible. You know, we may not make it that long. We may not make it that far, but we're going to certainly try. I'm going to try to get through every single one of these at some point. And then, of course, while I'm trying to get through this Bible study in Matthew's Unfiltered series, I'm also working on other series. And then I have these PDFs that I'm trying to build and put together. There's a lot that I've been working on, and there's a lot I'm doing. It's not just getting on camera, talking. I am putting in a ton of hours and a ton of work. I've worked on my music for a long time. I mean, I've been working on it for a long time, but I finally got that stuff put out there for you guys. So on Thursday, you guys will be able to, look that up and listen to all my songs. I've kind of just compiled them into like a soundtrack, so to speak. I'm not worried about making money or profit off of that. I did that because some of you guys like my music, and you've asked for it. So there you go. I put it out there. I think on some platforms you can actually pre get it early somehow. I don't really know how all that works exactly, but yeah, it's out there now. So we have some good music to kind of go along with this little season, and that's one thing I want to try to. That's another thing I want to try to do is I would like to, get to where I can start producing real artists, performing, some real artists out there, that can really sing, but we want them singing true Christian music, true Christ and godly inspired music. We don't want a bunch of garbage nonsense. And so I think that would be cool to have like a whole station that is real Christian music and not just kind of sort of Christian music. Nowadays you turn on a Christian station and you can't really tell if you're listening to a secular radio station or if you're listening to a Christian radio station. So it'd be really nice to have something like that going. But all of these things I'm talking about are not things that I believe are possible tomorrow. None of this stuff is going to happen overnight. This is a long drawn out thing. It's stuff also that I've been working on for years. There are things that I have literally been working on for years that I've mentioned just to you guys recently. But there's also things that I can't work on yet and that I've mentioned that also are things that we're going to keep working on for a very long time. This stuff is going to unfold, and it's going to unfold organically. We're not trying to force a movement, a true movement. We're not trying to take over the world. It'd be nice if the whole world knew what we knew and what we know. It would be nice. I think it would make the world a much better place if everyone could know the truth about Jesus Christ in the way that we do. When it comes to, yeah, I think it's fixed now, brother Dojo. But when it comes to this stuff, we want to kind of be a light in the world. We don't need to go out here and fight people and argue with them and do all that. Save that for people like me. I'll do all that arguing. Not just me. You got people like Brother Dojo, and you've got Reality Witness. Let the ones that don't mind the argue do it. But if it bothers you to do it, don't worry about doing that. And it's not a thing where it's not for everyone. Not everybody needs to be out here wielding swords. Some people just need to hold a shield up. So everybody has a place in life and in any of this, this season, this community, all of it. We all kind of have a place is really all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that for everyone to do or to never try anything or to try only certain things just because. I'm just saying that when we go out here into the world, that it's not always just go out there and you got to be, it's not about you, be it preaching whatever. We're not trying to force this down anybody's throat. We're just simply trying to expose the truth, and we're trying to do it in a humble way here. And if you guys enjoy that, and appreciate that, then this community will continue to grow as it's doing. And so I think that says a lot. That speaks volumes about the type of people that you all are, the ones watching, the ones in chat right now. It says a lot, and it's a blessing to be a part of it and to be here. It really is. I can't think of too many other places I'd rather be other than sitting by the seaside, perhaps, like Jesus was or will be in chapter 13 of Matthew when we get to that next week. And I say next week, I still got a schedule to maintain, so we will be back next week. But this week, Thursday through Saturday for certain, we will be in not just in San Antonio, but in Texas. We're going to kind of make a 3-point trip, or like a little circle. Or a little loop is what we're going to do, and it's going to be real fun. It's going to be a blessing to see everybody, and also you guys are going to get to see a different version of the Rev than what you get to see here on YouTube, because we're going to take this show on the road, and I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna have as many cameras set up as I can. If I can do one or two, I'll just do one or two, and it is what it is. But we're gonna try to have this thing set up so you guys can be on the road with us and talk with us, and experience this fellowship with us. It's not just for me; it's for all of us that we're doing this. So, but I couldn't do it without you guys. That is the truth. And that being said, I love you guys. I know it hasn't been quite 2 hours, but that is pretty much it. I know I've just kind of been rambling a little bit for the last few minutes or so, but truth is, I just really enjoy reading through. I'm kind of reading through the chat a little bit as I am talking with y'all. Let's see, he was right. Phone illiterate. Reality Witness. No problem. Casa Grande is right in between Phoenix and Tucson. Small town vibe. Pacing as. Oh, they're talking about, where people are placed at. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Nice. Yeah, and that's another thing. I plan on making a trip to Arizona. I got to go see Miss Trish Clark and Brother Scott at some point. I don't know how I can. I don't know how I could live myself if I just never make that trip. So I will go see Miss Trish Clark and Brother Scott and spend some time with them. I think that'll be awesome. Absolutely, Golden Fern. We're gonna go live on the way there, so that when I see Miles for the first time, you guys will be seeing Miles with me for the first time. The same with Mad Pax and Miss Allison and Miss, and hopefully maybe even Miss Donica and Miss Aunt Bonnie. It's just several others. There's quite a few people we're gonna try to meet up with. But yeah, we're gonna be alive as about as much as we can. I'm gonna have the cameras set up so y'all can kind of hang out with me as we're riding. You'll see my dog in the vehicle with us, and me and Brother Allen will probably talk amongst ourselves, and y'all be able to hang out with us. And of course, once we get to San Antonio, we're going to go down through the Riverwalk, and I want to be able to show you guys the Riverwalk, and y'all be able to see what we see. So I think that'll be real fun for all of you guys to experience that and explore all of Texas, or all this, Texas with us. I think it'll be real fun, and I look forward to it. I'm really excited. I know Brother Miles is excited, and of course, he's real busy right now. He's trying to get his stuff all together and wrapped up so he can be prepared for this meetup too. So I'm trying to be respectful of his time and not hold him up on the phone as long as I normally do when I call him. But I love Brother Miles, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys in Texas, and I look forward to seeing all of you at some point. And we will be, doing future meetups. I don't, it's not that expensive to travel. It just takes time. It just, doing it. It's just doing it. It's all it boils down to, is just doing it. So yeah, the more the merrier. If we can do this more often, that would be really cool too. And eventually, we can grow this into a big thing, where we have a really big meetup. I think that would be really cool too. There are many ways to go about this future that we're all walking into, and we can walk into it alone, or we can walk into it together. I hope to do it together. At least that's my goal and my plan. With that said, I hope you guys have a blessed week, a blessed weekend. I will not be live Thursday for the Bible study, but we will be live in other ways, over the next few days. So that'll be that. You'll have that to look forward to. So I look forward to that. I know you guys will be looking forward to that, some of you anyways. And yeah, that's it. That's it for the week. We're done with this. Finally, I've been putting this episode off for about three or 4 weeks now, and it's finally out of the way, and we can get back to moving forward again. There's been a lot of developments, a lot of news that's needed to be shared and talked about and discussed with everybody. And there's a whole lot of work going on behind the scenes. So just bear with us and be patient. Know that this stuff doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen. And if we put faith and trust in God, then anything can happen. I love you guys. It's been truly a blessing to have each and every one of you guys here this evening. I hope to see you guys next time, and much love. Take care. God bless. And
this isn't a show, it's a movement. This isn't a man, it's a mission. This is Truth Unfiltered. Let's go! We out! From the mic to the message, the fire is real. The rev brings the truth they're scared to feel. We don't bow down, we don't play safe. We sharpen swords while they play fake. No filters, no script, no corporate chain. We lift his name, not chase their fame. It's more than views, it's more than likes. It's saints on fire, and spirit strikes. We are the few, we are the flame, united in Christ, not chasing fame. From Discord threads to the Sunday stream, we're one in purpose, one in dream. This is Truth Unfiltered, no turning back. We ride with the King, stay on the track. From the rev to the saints who rise each day. We're the light in the dark, we don't fade away. This is community forged by flame. Real believers who ain't playing games. Truth Unfiltered, we answer the call. One voice, one fire, we stand through it all. Every brother, every sister, lifting Christ, not lifting pictures. From the chat to the mic, we show up bold, little seasoned warriors with hearts of gold. From Beth to Grady, Tyler too, every voice in the fam's got work to do. We ain't here for empty noise, we're builders, warriors, heaven's voice. We are the few, we are the flame, united in Christ, not chasing fame. From the remnant's cry to the live stream beat, this fellowship makes the fire complete. This is Truth Unfiltered, no turning back. We ride with the King, stay on the track. From the rev to the saints who rise each day. We're the light in the dark, we don't fade away. This is community forged by flame. Real believers who ain't playing games. Truth Unfiltered, we answer the call. One voice, one fire, we stand through it all. No filter, no fear. Little season, we're here. One fire, one flame. Every tongue, his name. No filter, no fear. This is the year. One voice, one stand. We're Truth Unfiltered across this land. This is Truth Unfiltered, no turning back. We ride with the King, stay on the track. From the rev to the saints who rise each day. We're the light in the dark, we don't fade away. This is community forged by flame. Real believers who ain't playing games. Truth Unfiltered, we answer the call. One voice, one fire, we stand through it all. This ain't a channel, it's a calling. We're not content creators, we're kingdom carriers. This is Truth Unfiltered, and we're just getting started.